plane landed in Marrakesh, and we prepared ourselves mentally for what was in store. We'd heard rumors that this North African city was vibrant and beautiful, but also unforgiving. The rumors were right. Welcome to Jamel El Fana, the world's most bustling market. Hawkers, salesmen, hustlers, snake charmers, filled with the smell of 1,000 roasting lambs and 1,000,000 pyramids of spice. The haunting sound of the call to prayer blared from a loudspeaker. After a while, our senses were frazzled. We headed back to the refuge of our hotel. After all, we weren't in Morocco for the markets. We were here for the mountains. The craziness and heat of Marrakesh faded away as our taxi sped upwards towards the high Atlas Mountains. A short drive away was the town of Imlil, the jumping-off point for a week-long hiking loop that would culminate, we'd hoped, with a climb of North Africa's highest peak, the 4,167-meter Mount Toubkal. We were now in Berber territory, a nomadic people indigenous to the Atlas Mountains and much of North Africa. Most of the trails in the Atlas link Berber villages and grazing fields for livestock higher up the valleys. Because of this, it was recommended we hire a muleteer, a fellow whose mule could carry our gear up the high mountain passes we'd be traveling through. As seasoned hikers, this seemed strange to Emily and I, as we normally always travel self-sufficiently in the mountains. But this time, we decided to try things the Moroccan way. We also hoped our Berber muleteer would be able to help us communicate with the other Berber people, many of whom only spoke their exotic mother language. Meet Mustafa, our muleteer. We spent the next few days getting into the routine of moving through the high Atlas, the chaos of the city a distant memory. We'd get up early and start moving before the heat of the midday sun. The terrain was completely exposed, treeless and red, a place that was as foreign as anything I'd ever experienced. I imagined that this must be what hiking on Mars is like. Mustafa and his mule would take off ahead, carrying a giant load up an endless high pass, and then drop down the other side through 100 switchbacks to a tiny Berber village below. The people in these villages looked at us curiously and smiled, our bright clothes standing out against the red brick of their houses. We finally reached the Mount Toubkal base camp. It was the most people Emily and I had seen in days. The entire area was speckled with tents from people all over the world who had come to try and climb North Africa's highest peak. There was a tangible buzz in the air as people discussed their strategy for the mountain. We We dragged ourselves from our tent in the dark the next morning and wolfed down a breakfast of bread, jam, and really sweet mint tea that Mustafa had made for us. Within minutes, we had started the long slog up the trail that led to the summit, our headlamps leading the way. In an hour, the sun had risen and we realized that Toubkal wasn't really a climb, but more of a hike up a really big pile of rocks. A little while later, wearing down jackets that seemed so ludicrous to be packing into our bags in a stifling 52-degree Marrakesh, we topped out, bracing ourselves against the massive winds at the summit. We spent a while mesmerized by the 360-degree view of the Atlas, the red layers of mountains fading away into the distance. We made our way down to Mustafa, who was waiting for us with a smile.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
It was time to say goodbye to Mustafa for all his hard work over the past week, and he left back to Imlil, taking a shortcut with his mule. Emily and I weren't finished with the mountains, so we took the long way back to the village. It was nice to have the familiar feeling of hiking with the weight of our packs, but on one big pass in particular, I really missed our mule. We took our time and made our way back to civilization, savoring our last little while with the Atlas Mountains. It wasn't always easy hiking in Morocco, but we both agreed that there was something special here. The beautiful mountains, the endless hiking trails, and the Berber culture make it one of the most exotic mountain places in the world. Maybe one day we'll be back, as they say in Morocco, Inshallah.
حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا